Can you be good without God? That is one of the most explosive questions I think that can be asked whenever people who believe in God and those who don't discuss. Why? Because people have many, many different ways, I think, of misunderstanding the question. What do you think of, in fact, when you hear the question, can I be good without God? Some people hear that question to be implying that if you don't believe in God, you can't be a good person. And it's taken to imply that atheists can't give money to charity, help poor people, help old ladies across the road, rescue kittens from trees. And that's to misunderstand the question, because I think, of course, you can do good deeds without being a believer in God. But here's the thing I want you to think about. Why are those things good? Why is it good to give to the poor? Why is it good to help others? Why is it good to be altruistic or to care for creation? What makes those things good? If there is no external standard outside of ourselves, how can you have anything other than just personal preference? You see, the problem you have is if there is no God, even talk of goodness just collapses to personal preference. You decide that helping animals or helping the poor is a good thing, while standing over here is somebody else who decides they want to be monstrous and unjust and cruel and unfair. What makes your way right and their way wrong? Or to put it another way, if there is no God, all we have are a set of actions and deeds and some labels marked good and evil, and each of us gets to run around putting the good and evil labels on the things that we like or don't like. But what's to prevent us simply switching the labels around? You decide that helping kittens out of trees is a good thing. I decide that clubbing them to death and making rugs out of their hides is a good thing. How do we determine who's right and who's wrong? We have no way if there is no God. So to even use the language of good and bad and right and wrong actually implies an external referent point. But there's another issue going on behind this question that I think gets people very heated, is that many atheists perceive that religious people think that it's all about being good, that religious people are people who think they're good and moral and upright and nice living, and that atheists aren't. And of course my atheist friends get very upset about that, and I can understand why. But here's another question for you. What if true religion has very little to do with being good? You see, what strikes me when you look at the teaching and the life and the ministry of Jesus of Nazareth, time and time again, the people he argues with, the people he guns for, are not the immoral people who don't believe in God. It's the religious leaders who do believe in God. And time again, he calls them out for their hypocrisy, and he calls them out for doing good deeds and following the religious law for all the wrong reasons. Because you can be a moral person because it gains you reputation. You can be a moral person to show off. You can be a moral person because you can use morality as a stick to beat others with and a way to gain power and influence. And Jesus cut through all of it. You see, the message of Jesus is simply this, that each one of us cannot please God on our own efforts, because each one of us has, by our mess-ups and our screw-ups and our hang-ups and our self-centeredness, chosen time and time again to go our way and not God's way. And if God expected us to somehow earn our way into his favour, we can never make it. And of course, if we thought we did, we would have a lever with which to try and manipulate God. Rather, the message of Christianity is that God loves us so much that even though we are not good people, Jesus Christ was still willing to come and give his life to die for us, to take into himself the wrong things that we had done, take those to the cross and pay the debt for each one of them. Christians are not people who think they are good enough for God. They are people who are humble, who realize all they can do is come to the foot of the cross and look at Jesus and go, it's all about you, not about me, because I am not a good person. The bad news of Christianity is that we are such bad people that Jesus had to die for us. But the good news of Christianity is that God loves us so much that Jesus was glad to die for us. That's the radical claim about God and goodness that is unique to the Christian faith.